Hi guys, I'm Daryl. I'm the founder of Break the Limits. We help advisors to break their limits so they can make more impact and income. For the last few years, we've been helping advisors to achieve their first MDRT, multiple MDRTs, or even COT as well. My firm belief is that when you win your inner game, that's where you have massive success in life. That's exactly the reason why I'm interviewing high-performing advisors to understand their inner game, the inner world, understand the challenges so that I can inspire you to get your unique breakthrough as well. With that being said, let's get started with today's episode. Hi guys, today I'm with Edmund. Okay, he's one of our earlier clients, and the reason why I invite him today is because he has amazing breakthrough last year. Last year he was, one of the COT achievers. At the same time, out of 1,000 advisors in AIFA, he came in 4th place. As well as achieving in terms of high net worth cases, he came in 2nd place as well. All of these amazing feats were unbelievable, and that's the reason why I want him to share with you guys how did he exactly do it. Without further ado, Edmund, please introduce yourself to the rest.
Okay, so first off, right, really thank you, Daryl, for inviting me here. It's been an honor. So I was his ex-student itself, right, before I even got licensed, right. So my name's Edmund, right, I'm from Advisor Alliance Group. So currently I've been in the business for about 2 years-ish. If you consider exploring the business, another half a year more itself. Yeah.
So share with the audience, right? Previously, in fact, now you're still a student advisor.
Yeah.
That's why a student advisor like yourself, serving high net worth, clients, right? Share with them like how was your transition as well. Share with them probably how did you get started in this career.
Okay. So when I first got introduced to this career, in fact, I was just using TikTok lying on the bed itself, and then because I had one NTU friend, yes, right, who is also my JC friend. So he said, hey,
I know him.
Yeah. Gerald,
yes.
Yeah, so he's he told me, he said, I was studying banking and finance, why not give this a shot?
Yep.
Right, so I thought, okay, there's everything to gain but nothing to lose, so let me give it a shot, right? So since then, right, I joined the career itself, right, learning a lot about finance and of course earning a side income, right? But there's 2 stories that actually changed my life itself, right? And one is happy one is a relatively sad one itself. I don't mind if I...
go ahead,
yeah.
share.
So one of the stories was that, so I played badminton in hall, right? And then I got to know this friend of mine, okay? And then he eventually became my client. So eventually he referred me to his parents, okay? And his parents were roughly around in the 50s range itself. So they were business owners, right? And I thought to myself, right, because maybe Daryl, right, can you guess how much if, let's say you're a 50-year-old, you actually put with a 20-plus-year-old whom you barely met?
Yeah. A few 100,000, maybe 50,000 actually to start with, or maybe 30,000.
Okay, 50,000.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so you maybe 50,000, add an additional 0 behind and you times 2 itself.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's close to be about 1 million.
Yes.
So at the point of sale itself, right, I was actually very dumbfounded, actually very confused. I was like, uncle, auntie, you're about to put 1 million with me, right? As a student advisor, y'all don't even know if I'm going to stay here for long, right? That's what I said. I say, what made you actually trust me so much? So this one, I would say, sentence or phrase, you like to call it, right? Actually, still make me remember to this day, right? You say, a boy, right? I know you'll be earning commissions from this, right? And maybe around like 40, 50,000, he said, right? But the thing is that throughout the hard work and, despite many consultations that we actually had, right? What I can tell is that the value that you provide to me was actually more worth than this 40,000, 50,000 they're actually going to earn. Mm-hmm. So I thought, wow, I never thought that someone would actually see it this way itself, right? And then eventually, he also mentioned to say that, you remind me of someone like younger of myself.
Yeah.
Right. And, I just thought that I trust you. Right. So, and I thought to myself, I say like, if I was in similar position as to him, right? If I see someone, I'm not that old, right? If I see someone younger of myself, right, then I'll definitely, go out of my way to help them also.
For sure.
Yeah. So that is the happy part of it. Right. So the sad part about it is that there was one time, right, whereby I actually went to go and ask my friend to become my client. But then 3 months she didn't really reply to me, right? Because I think she was being afraid of me approaching her as becoming a financial advisor, which I totally understand. So after that, another 3 months passed, right? She became my client. Okay, and usually my business model is that I'll go to the parents, right? The reason for that is very simple. Okay, for example, if let's say Daryl, you are in coma, right? You won't be able to come and call me and say, hey, Edmund,
True.
I'm currently in a coma. Can you help me claim my insurance?
True.
Yeah. So my whole main objective, right, at least is for the parents to put my name to my face. At least they know who I am. Right. If let's say I can potentially help them with anything, I would. Right. My job as a financial advisor is very pragmatic. I'll lay out the solutions here. If there's something you need, okay, you choose. If not, then it's fine. Right. There's obviously no obligation. But of course, to her, and I believe to the majority out there as well, it's a very sensitive thing, right? Especially because youngsters like us don't really talk about finance, and let alone talk to our parents about this kind of issues. So, of course, then she didn't want to let me meet the parents, like meet her mom, right? So, there was one day. Okay, actually, she called me and she said, hey, I know this is very random, right? And I think that was about 7 8 months later. She said, hey, actually, my mom is hospitalized, right? Can you actually come down to help me with her claims? So at the point I was thinking, I was saying like, in my own heart, right, I was thinking, actually, I thought like she would have her own agent, right? Because that's why she didn't want to meet me. And I was thinking, how come she actually called me in the first place? And I thought very simply it was the same whole concept again, because now my client didn't know her mom's agent. I didn't know the name to the face itself. And that's why she personally knew me, and that's why she also called me itself. Yeah. So at that point of time, I went down. Okay. The policy wasn't with me, right? But I managed to help to contact the advisor itself, and the advisor actually proceed on the claims itself. So then I was also thinking is that like, if let's say I didn't manage to push her for the 3 months itself, right, then, would she actually reach out to me? Because I also understand that a lot of people, maybe they're a bit, I don't know, I would say embarrassed or shy to approach me if let's say they didn't get anything from me. Yeah. So then actually that whole process made me realize, right, what I do actually will impact other people's lives. Yeah, not just intangibly, but as you can see, quite tangibly also.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing these two powerful stories actually. And when was that actually? The earlier stage of your business, or how many months in or what?
Yeah, earlier stages in the business. So when I was actually just, thinking actually this could be a part-time job, could earn like some side income, right? So until these two events happened slightly after, then I took this career more seriously, right? I wanted to show people that actually, what we do here, right? It's not just selling of insurance.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
And how has these two events, right? We split them out separately first. The first one where the uncle really really saw the value and then invested that sum with you. How did that cemented your belief? What kind of belief do you create from the incident?
So the thing about belief is that honestly, before meeting him, I thought I was just, a random student, 20+ year old that was just doing his normal advisory work, helping with parents with retirement, business owners and all. But I think after that one incident whereby he actually put close to 1 million with me, it actually made me believe that actually I have the power, right, to change, right, people around me in my network. But with, of course, limited time, energy, and effort, right, I can only impact a certain number of lives, be it through sales, right? So then again, I thought, what if, let's say, I can actually train someone to not be exactly like me, right, but similar, right? And, he could actually use his own network, right, to expand as well. Because at the end of the day also, when I think about it, right, during my funeral, I don't want people to go and say, hey, Edmund was not too bad of a guy, right? He actually got, attained 1 million by 30, right? But rather, I want my funeral to be like my wedding. Yeah, such that, people are actually celebrating, right? Because of the lives I've actually impacted.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And share with us, right? Previously, you said a lot like, I'm a student advisor, I'm just young, right? What kind of self-image, right, changed after that deal?
I wouldn't exactly say it was because of that deal itself,
Right.
but that was the stepping stone itself, right? So at the beginning itself, as a student, if I have a mindset of a student, which I previously had, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was okay to wake up at 12 p.m. Right? It was okay to skip meetings.
Yeah.
It was okay to postpone sales appointment, recruitment appointments, and even find excuses.
Very
right?
honest. I love it.
Yeah, and if let's say I was in hall, it'd be okay to play mahjong, poker, instead of working on my business.
Yeah.
Right. So even though I'm a student advisor, right, but I think in my mind, my mindset is not. So there's 3 tiers for me, right?
Sure.
Student advisor, being a full-timer mindset, as well as a successful entrepreneur. So if let's say I have a mindset of a full-timer, right, that means it's okay, I have to come to office at 8:30, right? I have to do my meetings, I have to do my sharings, I have to conduct certain kind of trainings, or maybe even go about the normal routine day itself, right? And then maybe say I panggang at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., right? But a successful entrepreneur, right, essentially never stops.
Yes.
It might be a bit toxic,
Yeah.
right? But honestly, when I was listening to Elon Musk, his interview as well, right? If he suddenly has an idea, he would just wake up from his bed, he'll take a pen and a paper and just scribble it down. I also thought that was quite amazing. And in fact, I've done that a couple of times. And then after I scribbled the idea down, right, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So, of course, I do my best, try to not to do that anymore, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because it ruins the sleep cycle.
Yep.
Yeah. So, whenever I face or have an issue or problem itself, I'll think about it before I go to sleep.
Yep.
And subconsciously, that will actually work on the issue itself. So when I wake up, that problem will actually be solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, miraculously lah.
For sure. And how did you transit out from the student advisor, playing mahjong and all of these things, to seeing yourself as an entrepreneur though?
So, last time when I was young, and Dara actually helped me to figure this out. Like, I like to be within the inner circle, like be the same at everyone, right? But then I realized that people that actually achieve tremendous result, right, they're actually quite different, right? So there's a saying that goes, they laugh at me because I'm different, right? But I laugh at them because they're all the same.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew that I had to do something differently. And in life, there's actually, for me, personally, there's 2 kinds of things. People that become the trailblazer and people that follows the trail. So I thought to myself, I want to become the trailblazer, but how do I get started?
Yep.
So simple things like habits. For example, if I'm at a drinking event, okay, can I have multiple objectives? Right? Can I strike up conversations with different people? Okay, maybe potentially I can find out more about themselves. If let's say I'm doing a sharing, right? For example, like this kind of podcast, right? Can I actually do a bit of social media branding and marketing as well? Yeah, so always having and my mentor always tell me having these 7 multiple objectives in order of importance. Yeah, so I tend to list down 7 objectives, right? In order of importance, and if let's say even if I don't hit 7 of it, I'll make sure I hit at least 5.
To maximize every opportunity that you have.
Yeah, correct.
Understand, beautifully said. And share with us the second incident, right, which is slightly more sad. Something happened to your client's mom, right? What was your belief created from that incident then?
So, honestly, I used to think about insurance, right? Like, as a very logical point of view.
Okay.
Because essentially it's income replacement. So if you're working, this is supposed to replace your income, right? That's it, full stop. But, ever since that case itself, I think whatever that we do actually, and whatever that we say has an impact on them. Like, our job doesn't just consist of you signing a policy, but you really trusting an advisor because of whatever his personal experience. He share his client stories and all. And from there, right, the client actually understands it logically and emotionally, that we're in a place to actually help them and not just to, upsell them and all. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you is that probably in the past, because everything had never happened in reality yet.
Yeah.
So you feel that like, hey shit, this is like something intangible, I don't see it. But after the incident, you really felt it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you really probably cement the importance of it even more. Would you say that really helped you in terms of conviction as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So linking this to the next victory that you had, right, was the COT victory. I want to ask, right, what did you do that helped you with this COT achievement?
Wow, Daryl, I think that's many things along the way, right?
If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. So maybe I just share a bit of personal experience first.
Go ahead.
So I was first introduced to this COT even before I got a license, right? So I have a good friend that asked me, hey, what's after MDRT? Because I was telling him I was going for MDRT, right? So I told him COT. And he said, and then? So it's TOT. So I said that, okay, at MDRT already, at the point of time, it was very difficult for me to even imagine about it.
Yes.
Let alone COT. And I don't even think TOT was even something a human could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And he was my good friend, right? So, and he was very smart as well. So I actually listened to him. So he said, bro, actually, these rules are meant to be broken, right? Awards are meant to be broken as well, right? Records are meant to be broken. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, that was my first time entertaining COT, but it wasn't a very conscious thing. It was just something that comes and goes itself, right? So back last year, during Sydney MDRT, whereby I went to the MDRT conference in Sydney. So I have one good friend, right, Jing An.
Yes, I know him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Tai Jing An, right?
Yeah.
So every day and night when I was sober, when I was high, when I was drunk, he will keep mentioning to me that, actually, bro, you've already cleared your idea, your MDRT, what's next for you? Right? And at a point of time also, I had one colleague during a dinner that mentioned to me, say that, actually, so we have this board called the Greatest for All Time. Basically, it's like a Guinness World Record. If you beat that board itself, then your name will be there until someone actually beats you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, actually, you're very close to achieving the top NTU student advisor, right? So I thought to myself, is that even possible? Right? I didn't even look at such a macro view before. It was just a micro. So at the point of time, my commissions level were close to hitting the top NTU student advisor, and I thought, let me just go for it for a shot, right? Because at the point of time, I still couldn't picture COT. But once I actually cleared that, right, I knew to myself, right, and it's something Daryl that helped me to figure out also is that no regrets.
No regrets. I knew it.
Yeah. If I want to do it, right, I gotta make sure that I gotta do it with no regrets. So I know there are a lot of competitors around me, but I tend not to see it. That means I was just focusing on myself and what I can do. Basically controlling the controllables. Yeah.
And share with us a little bit more, right? So now we understand how did you stumble upon COT and then you sit the idea in and then you really saw the reality of things. How was your journey? What was the struggle that you faced though?
Okay, so I think it was quite a tangible struggle itself because about September to December, I had about 4 months left.
Yes.
Right. My shortfall was actually 100,000. Yeah, 100,000 to actually clear my goal. So at a point of time, I've never done, logically speaking, 100K divided by 4 is 25K a month.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I would do a very big month, and then subsequently, the next month will be quite small.
Yep.
Let alone doing 25K for consecutively for 4 months itself.
Yeah.
I thought to myself that actually that's impossible.
Yeah.
Right. But I knew that I had to surround myself with the right environment. Right. So that means the average of 5 people that I hang out with. Yeah. And every day I would think of new ways. That means to say, usually people, when they come and have conversations around you, they would say, actually, how do you talk to this business owner? How do you talk to these parents?
Yeah.
Right. I don't think I can lah. Right.
Yeah.
I think next year then I talk to him again. Right. So instead of looking from a pessimistic angle, I try to look from it at the optimistic angle itself. That means how can I actually break through to this area? Can I improve on my deliverables? Right? Because we have, I believe in this string content, sequence, and delivery. After content, can I put it in sequence out? And the way I deliver, the way I articulate my words, the emphasis on certain kind of adjectives or whatsoever, how does that make the person feel?
True.
Yeah. So over time from there, then I realized, and I work on it really very hard until I still remember I was supposed to go for a pre-trip to Switzerland, right? On 30th December at 8 p.m. Sorry, I'm 10 p.m. So it's airport at 8 p.m., right? I was still trying to close the case at 6 p.m. Yeah. So it was really the last stretch.
Yeah, understand. So what I'm hearing from you, right, is that you hang out with people who probably supported you, push you towards that goal. That's one. And the second thing is that instead of looking at things very negatively, say, I cannot, I'm so young and a lot of self-doubts, right? You found very objective way of handling it. Keep crunching, like cranking up ideas, right? For you to come up with solutions instead of a lot of negative thoughts in your head. Besides that, right, what other challenges do you face? Because people will say, right, MDRT and COT, the difference is 3 times. Do you face 3 times more rejections, more objections? And what was going through also emotionally, mentally?
Oh yeah, definitely. So, from MDRT to COT, logically speaking, is 3 times more.
Yes.
So my mentor also tell me that it's normal to face 3 times more the rejection, the objection, and your emotions, of course, right? So, there are many times in a day whereby I finish my appointment, I'm just driving back in the car.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes, I don't even know how to feel. Right. I'm so down. Sometimes I feel like crying. Right. Sometimes inside the car, I just scream. Right. But then along the way, right, I told myself, because there's this thing that my mentor also told me, right, this alphabet economy recovery thing. That means like there's a V shape, there's a W, there's a U, and there's a L. That means if let's say I was an L, right? If I'm here at the top now, if I were to fall down, some people don't pick themselves up all the way, so they just remain down.
Yep.
Right. You, of course, you take a slight while to go back up. Right. A W, you keep bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I had to be a V shape.
Yep.
That means when I hit the rock bottom, I first need to ensure and understand and of course acknowledge. Right. Then after that, bouncing back up. So throughout the car ride, maybe say from point A to point B, when I'm traveling to a client's house, right? I mean, Singapore isn't that big. So east to west is just 30 minutes, right? So during that 30 minutes, right, I allow myself to just whine, scream, shout, whatever in the car. But the more I step out of the door, I tell myself that I'll not bring these emotions, right, to my next appointment. Yeah. And from there, right, that actually helped me to gain more emotional clarity towards myself also. And because I think most of the time we're also very filled with a lot of emotions throughout the day.
For sure.
Yeah. So I tend to compartmentalize my emotions bit by bit. Yeah. When should I actually do this and that? Yeah.
Different time for different emotions as well.
Correct.
Understand. So knowing that you have done MDRT, I mean, of course, COT is 3 times MDRT, right? What do you say is the biggest difference between MDRT and COT then, based on your personal experience?
I think that's a very good question, right? MDRT, I would say work hard. COT is to work smart.
And would you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So FYC, what we call it, is basically our commissions. Yeah. Right. It's equal to case size times case count and times our closing ratio.
True.
So the thing about case size, so there's category 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Right. MDRT, maybe you got one of the 3 correct. Right. Maybe your case size is high, but your case count is low and your closing ratio is low. So COT, maybe your case size and your case count is high, right? But actually your closing ratio is low. Yeah. So TOT then would be all 3 is high. And that's why that's the ultimate award.
Understand.
Yeah. So, and of course, to work smart, right? We also have to understand the target market that we want to get into, right? So for me back in 2021, right, my range of targets, markets, or rather the people that became my clients, about close to 20% of them were parents. 80% of them were
students.
Yeah, students. I mean, they're not even fresh grads, right? Yeah, some of them are my friends, close friends. But eventually that changed, and I was quite surprised by the numbers because in 2022 itself, 80% of them were parents. 20% of them, right, were students. Yeah. So, and of course, to me, to go to the next higher tier of the market itself, right, it's on 3 things also, right? Mindset, skill set, and execution, right? If I'm not convicted as to why I need to meet the parents, and if I don't have clarity, then the parents wouldn't even want to meet me in the first place.
Agree.
Yeah, let alone do anything with me. Like, because to them, I'm a 50-year-old and you're a 20-plus-year-old. Why should I even trust you in the first place? Yep. And of course, next thing is skill set. Right, do I have competency in talking about CPF conversations, mortgage, refinancing, tax planning, right? And of course, the last thing, execution. Now I have the mindset. I believe I can do it. I have the skill set, the competency. But if I don't even execute anything, then everything is just in my head, right? So I knew for me to execute something, usually we want to feel in a good state. But how do we create an environment such that we feel good all the time? Okay, not all the time, most of the time.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So I surround myself with people, and I also understand that throughout the day, my energy state will change. For example, if I were to talk to people, energy is being transferred. Right. After that, my energy will feel a bit lower.
Yep.
So how do I gain the energy back? Maybe I give a phone call to my mentor or a friend, right? Or maybe, read some books or even podcasts.
Yep.
Hear some podcasts. Yeah. So when I'm in the best state itself, then I know, okay, that's when, right, I need to go for it.
Go for it. What do you mean by that?
That means to say, my habits have to be in place.
Yes.
Right. So if let's say I'm feeling lazy, maybe I don't want to do my maybe prospecting, okay? But I make myself feel good. And then once I feel good, I say, okay, you know what? I should just do it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Understand. If you enjoyed the podcast so far and you're curious to experience the life coaching for yourself, to implement the methods that we teach so that you can see more breakthrough in your income, I highly encourage you to sign up for our complimentary masterclass. Click the link anywhere around this podcast, or you can check it out in any of our social media accounts. And right now, let's get back to the podcast. So let's elaborate a little bit more about that transition period, right? Of like how initially it was 20% of parents, then now it's 80% of parents, right? What was your initial struggle or your limiting beliefs that were holding you back, right? And how do you debunk that?
So, as a student itself, of course, that's my mindset initially.
Yeah.
Right? I never even thought that I could talk to a 30-year-old, let alone talking to someone who has 30 years more experience than me itself. And this set of parents, some of them, they were actually quite, I would say, condemning. Not sure if that's the word for it.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember some of the cases also, they were telling me, they were saying, actually, Xiao Di, congratulations, you got business to do from uncle, auntie. And I was thinking, I say uncle, auntie, actually, you should be quite blessed to meet me, lah. Right. And when I say this, I think I just want to clarify a bit. Like, I don't come from a place of being arrogant, but rather being confident. Yeah, I believe there's a fine line for it.
Sure.
Yeah. So confident because I'm convicted in what I do, right? And a lot of people think that, I would say most people feel that, they actually understand a lot about CPF, right? In fact, I thought I knew a lot about CPF as well until I attended one of the CPF course.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I don't, if let's say financial advisors don't know about this, right? I don't think
most people know.
Yeah, normal Singaporeans actually know about this because it was very in depth. Yeah, and those kind of clarity in, for example, CPF topic, right, gave me conviction. And those conviction, right, helped me to give clarity to the parents as well. Yeah, so when they saw that in me, right, they were saying, hey, actually, how come this, maybe like if I was there, I would be thinking, how come this 20-plus-year-old actually have this clarity in this kind of topics whereby my circle of friends hardly even have. Yeah, there's certain kind of competency about him and, maybe I should just take a leave of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So what I'm hearing, right, is that the fact that you were very intentional, allow me to sum it up for the audience listening to this, right? I think initially you're very certain first that like, okay, probably this is an audience that I want to meet, right? Because logically speaking, if my clients, the students, get into trouble, I need to contact someone, right?
Yeah.
So that was the starting point already.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing kind of makes sense, right? So next, I know logically I need to find parents, just that like, competence, mindset-wise, a bit scared. How do I solve that problem? Because instead of lingering in those negative thoughts, you're thinking, how can I optimistically solve that? That's where you start going for CPF classes and all of these things. Competency, and then the mindset gave you conviction, competence. And that's kind of start the momentum whereby you meet the one parent after next and next.
Yeah.
Would you say that's your process?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And now knowing this, right, share with us, right, what do you think is one or two traits in you that brought you to today's success, that differentiate you from a vast majority of advisors out there, right? What do you think is a trait in you that people can work upon to become or probably have success or even greater success than yourself? What's that one or two trait that you probably have?
So, ever since at the start of the career, right, I was taught these three things in Chinese, right, which later I'll translate. 好学感恩服务. Right, 好学, that means, always having the coachable attitude, being very humble, right? 感恩, that means showing gratitude, right? It can be towards our parents, our clients, even towards friends. So like, even if let's say, you brought me to this podcast itself, I'm very appreciative of it, right? And 服务, that means to say service. So my mentor also told me to say that, if you cannot service your parents, right, there's no point servicing your clients, right? Because then that is just very transactional.
Mm.
Yeah. So I would say that being coachable itself, right, is something that I personally look out for people as well. Because and one more thing, 人格, that means character.
Character.
Yeah. So I always tell people this: if let's say you have 人格, but you don't know how to sell, I can teach you how to sell, right? Because we have culture, we have training systems in place. But if you don't have character, but you know how to sell, sorry, the exit is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because technically, they also say, a salesperson can be a very dangerous person, right? Because there's a yin and a yang.
Yes.
Right. If a salesperson become too powerful and he doesn't have integrity, he can essentially manipulate anyone and everyone that he sees.
True.
Yeah. So of course we want to prevent that from happening. That's why the first thing is always integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our 3 core values also integrity, compassion, competence.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And just now you mentioned, coachable is a very strong trait of yours, right? And then that was inculcated by your mentor. I mean, I personally can vouch for that. He's extremely coachable, always ask questions. How or what beliefs do you have that constantly allow you to be coachable?
I feel that, 一山还有一山高.
Yes.
Right? That means if there's a
always
mountain,
greater levels.
Definitely.
Beyond this.
And I personally experienced it back in US MDRT. So I just came from US, which was another of the MDRT conference. So over there, basically you have a tag, right? If let's say you clear MDRT, you have 1, you clear COT, you have 1.
Yeah.
So there was this COT reception itself. And because COT is technically considered one of quite good, right, in our company, in the industry as well, right? But when I go there, I see many people having COT. I was thinking, I felt like
average.
Nothing. Yeah. Not even average. I felt like, okay, just another person over there. So, and there's so many things to learn, right? When I talk to some of the US personnel, how they do offshore business, right? How do they actually run it entirely like a business? Even when they're there at the conference itself, their business is still running. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And I knew I had something to learn. Right. And the belief is that why should I always assume a position as a mentor when there's someone, that knows more than me and I could actually learn from them. Even if, let's say, if people were to consider me successful or whatsoever in my field itself, if I talk to a lawyer, if I talk to a doctor, similar thing, I don't know anything about the will.
Yeah.
I know things about will.
Yeah,
I mean, like the law itself.
The in-depth stuff.
Yes, the fine prints.
Yes.
And also about doctors, I can't assume a position of being a mentor to a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's always something to learn from someone, even if you think you're at the top of the mountain itself.
Beautiful. I just want to sum it up, whatever you just said. Even if you're at the top, right, there's always something else that you can learn. And all of these layers of beliefs, right? He said that, there's always people better, always remain humble. All of these things cement the core value of coachability. I think that's what you stand for. As a result, you absorb a lot of information like a sponge, and you go out there, execute it like mad. And just now we briefly mentioned the word regret also. I want you to dive in deeper as well. Explain how regret as a driving force, right, really spur you all the way forward to have such transformation.
Right. So I think this word regret has been something that I always feel since young, right?
Yeah.
I regret that, maybe my O-levels could have done better. My A-levels, maybe, because I retained in JC, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, I could have done better so that, I wasn't retained. Then my uni, I could have gone to a different course, a better course, right? And, or even NS, maybe if I didn't took MC, so occasions, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can actually get into a better position and all. So, for the past, I would say 21 years of my life is always full of regrets. Yeah. And I thought to myself, right, for the next 60 years or 70 years of my life, right, do I really want to live it in regret? Right? And there was this TikTok that I watched before. They say that, when you lie on your deathbed, right, aside from your family members around you, actually there are ghosts around you also. Right? And those ghosts are dreams and things that you could have achieved, but you didn't. Because you are lazy. Right? Or just because, you just didn't believe in yourself. And I thought, at one point in time, I want to see what is the best version of myself, right? The 100% of what Edmund looks like. I might never reach there. I do not know. But if I don't reach 100%, maybe I reach 90%. Yeah, at least close to there.
Beautiful. And share with us the specifics, right, of how do you use regret, right, to drive you on times that even you don't want to push yourself, so that the audience can learn a thing or two.
So the thing about regret is doing something that you wish you could have done previously, right? And in many scenarios, whenever we do something wrong, or not say something wrong, something that wasn't up to our standard, we go back to sleep and we ponder about it, right? We dream about it. But the thing is that when we wake up, right, we don't do anything about it. So then the question is that now you see, you understand that you have to do it, but because of how you're feeling, then you won't do it. So why not create that, like previously I mentioned, create an environment that such that you have the emotion to feel motivated and driven, and therefore you will do it. Yeah.
And therefore preventing the regret.
Yes.
I hear you. So it seems that like for your success, you constantly use regret because you say just now you mentioned I was so close to COT. I was so close to the NTU leaderboard first.
Yeah.
Right. And after you cross that, you say, hey, I'm so close to COT. Let me not regret it. Let me not waste it. That's also another thing that caught as well. And then you also mentioned that probably, hey, I'll regret if I don't reach out to the parents. Something like that happened to the previous client, right? Will probably scare you. And would you say that is true? That is how you kind of cycle yourself, right? To do things that you never thought possible.
So, no, there's actually two things, right?
Yeah.
The first thing is that you'll be thinking, okay, now is the fear of meeting the parents, okay, bigger than the fear of, your client not knowing who to contact if something were to happen, right? Is that bigger or is that smaller than it?
Beautiful, I love it.
Right, so to me, myself, is that, okay, and most people, right, I would say they want to meet the parents because they want to close bigger cases.
True.
Right, there's some people where I talk to and they ask me, they say, Edmund, how do you get to the parents market?
Yeah.
I say, why do you want to get to the parents market? They say, I want to close bigger cases. Sorry, that mindset is wrong.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is what I believe, and there's a Gandhi quote about it. Right? I say, your beliefs becomes your thoughts, right? Your thoughts become
Actions.
your words. Your words become actions.
Correct.
Actions become habits, and habits eventually become values.
True.
Right? So the thing is that if your belief and your thoughts are already wrong, whatever that you say will come out as salesy, and parents or even other people, they're not even in this industry, can also smell that from a mile away.
Agree.
Yeah. So that is what I want to prevent it from happening.
Beautifully said. I love it. So assuming that right now, right, you're going to start from zero, I'll take away all your clients, existing clients as well.
Yeah.
But your skill set's still here.
Yeah.
How would you advise, what would you say, right, you will do to start over again to achieve the COT? Or what would you advise people step-by-step manner?
So, of course, environment is first thing, right, which have mentioned previously. Second thing I would say, right, is to find the right mentor. So there are all mentors here and there and everywhere, right? But if you can find, if you can't find a mentor yourself personally, right? Ground yourself. That things like don't let success get into your head and don't let failure get into your heart.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Right, I used to tell myself this
Yeah.
to also ground myself.
Ground yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, what's the question again?
No worries. I distracted you.
Yeah.
So I was saying that, like, assuming you're gonna start from zero, right? How you rebuild your COT? So
another thing is having frameworks, and I feel that sometimes trainings, right, they will give you prospecting scripts. They would tell you things to say to a client. I personally don't believe in that, even though last time I've used it, right? Because I didn't know anything. Also, I was taught to do. And why I feel frameworks are important is because if you use a script, it's like me telling you the answer to a 10-year series question.
Yep.
And you're just taking the answer. You're not even analyzing why is this the answer. But if I can digress and break it down to you that, okay, you know what, this is the framework that you need to go using it, right? The thinking process behind it. It actually helps to retrain your critical thinking. And then you can just answer questions based on the current situation.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You're talking about the essence of it, not the actual tangible step-by-step manner of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So knowing all of these things, right, how would you then rebuild the COT?
I think I need some time to think.
Sure, no worries. Right, how would you step-by-step manner? Because I believe all of the audience listening to this, right, they will be dying to hear that.
How would I rebuild my
Your
COT?
Yeah, assuming that you start from zero, take away your clients again.
Okay, so I feel that especially in Advisor Alliance Group, there are a lot of resources here and there. But sometimes it's not about the amount of resources, but how resourceful you are, right? So there's a lot of ideas here and there. And Steve Jobs also say that you need to connect the dots.
Yep.
So whenever I attend a conference, and I have a lot of ideas overflowing and all, I would draw my map, right? Be it on paper or be it on a workbook or Excel book, right? So a simple thing that means to say so there are 3 KPIs: sales, recruitment, and management. In sales, commission equals to case size times case count times our closing ratio. So what can give me case size? People who have income, people who are qualified buyers, right? What can give me case count? That means to say if I'm a family advisor, then slowly I'll digress it down. And that's the framework. So I've notes all over the place, right? Then I'll put that note into the particular framework
And
itself.
then connect, yeah.
Yeah. So once I'm able to connect, then it gives me clarity into speaking to a client or maybe even someone who is actually exploring the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. So what I'm hearing from you, right, is that you actually, to sum it up, you actually do exactly what you've done. You logically understand the whole process that in this business, right, family is the way to go. Right? Because if a single person buy from me, then what's the point? Agree, right? So that gives you a lot of conviction the way you run your business model. And then you also say that the competency part, the knowledge part, you start building that up already.
Yeah.
So that when you meet people, you understand that you don't fluff. You really know the real stuff. And that builds up the conviction, the competency, the confidence to continuously be really, really known in this market, in this expertise. And that compounds and case after case achieving a COT.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And for those audience watching this right now, right, wanting to break the limits, going to COT, right, what advice would you give and share with them?
What advice? I think that's a very interesting thing, right? Don't listen to yourself, but talk to yourself.
Oh, elaborate.
Yeah. So most of the time, whenever we are feeling down, there are always, this small little devils talking to us, right? And sometimes subconsciously, even though consciously we tell ourselves, don't listen to it, but we still follow suit it.
Yeah.
Like for example, if let's say you end your day and actually you need to put in some more work, but you saw the TV and you just on the TV and just Netflix over there, right? But talking to yourself means that, like for example, I say I was in a car, right? And there are a lot of emotions overflowing, too many things flowing, right? And I have to physically, verbally say it out to tell myself, stop doing all this, right? And focus on the thing that I'm doing. Yeah, you can be talking to anything like that. If let's say I'm too overwhelmed again and I don't have the energy as well to talk to myself, I will simply on a podcast. So then the podcast is talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you listen to something, things are going inside your head. So that means that the devil can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to stop for a while. Yeah. So I like to surround myself, right, with people that have positive energy, right? That gives me this kind of energy they are constantly flowing. And I talked to one of my seniors before, and I still remember the question. I was in Paris asking him one of a convention. I said that, hey bro, what was the biggest change, right? From being a consultant to associate director. Before I could, and then of course I asked him also, is it hard? Is it difficult? Before I could even finish the sentence, right, he said, bro, stop. Don't ask me that question, right? I don't want to hear anything negative. I thought that was quite powerful, right? That you kind of know it's difficult, but you don't want people to say it because you don't want your brain to subconsciously pick up evidence to reinforce that idea.
True.
Yeah. So you just want to focus on a thing from optimistic angle itself.
Oh, I love that. And I was curious, right? Now I want to ask one last question, right? Probably many more questions, a few more if you don't mind. What was one belief, right? Limiting belief specifically that you have to destroy in order for you to get breakthrough? The most limiting one.
Yeah.
What was that?
I would say me being in a 23-year-old body, right? Because physically I'm 23, turning 24 this year.
Okay.
And honestly, there's always one part of me that view me as a younger self. Maybe, I could have been more competent. Perhaps I don't deserve to talk to those high net worth, maybe even business owners, right? And that perception will, I would say, ultimately destroy you, right? You're who you see you are.
Yeah.
Right? And so I do my best to not look at myself that way. Although subconsciously, whenever I'm in school, I'm hanging around with friends, the conversations that I'm having are revolving around schoolwork and all. it will subconsciously put me back as a student again, right? And I have to consciously switch out of being that mental state into doing my advisory work professionally. Yeah.
I hear you.
I guess that was the biggest thing.
Yes, correct. So what I'm hearing is the limiting belief is that I'm too young. And that kind of holds you back for a lot of potential opportunities, a lot of years. And then when you snap out of it and enter the full entrepreneurhood, that kind of put you more control, more certain, and you have more confidence about yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. So share with us, right, Edmund, what's something exciting that you're up to right now, knowing that you have all of these achievements, right? What's something that you're planning or you're, work in progress right now?
So I always thought to myself, then again, 23, turning 24, with the kind of income I earn, to be honest, of course I could save up more for the future and everything, right? But actually money is not the end game for everything. So for myself, I want to create a community of clients that can actually network with each other. So meaning to say, I have a range of clienteles, right? Those from ranging from high net worth to business owners, to parents, to teachers, lawyers, doctors, and NSF, undergraduates, some even that were just born. So, and a simple example that I could give, right, is that, for example, nowadays a lot of youngsters like to start a cafe, right? If let's say I have a business owner who starts a food business, maybe say well established or SME, right? And maybe he's looking for a proper mentee. And I actually have someone who wants to start, who's willing to learn and have similar values as like me. Okay, then I'll link them up together.
Oh, beautiful.
And the reason why I say network is because the truth is that when people climb up the corporate ladder, they actually have lesser time. Technically, their network expand, but the people that they interact with, right, is very limited, and therefore it actually decreases. So people also say your net worth is, equivalent to your net. Your net worth is equivalent to your net worth.
Yep.
Right. For me, I believe, right, is your ability to network that will determine your net worth. So, but this ability to network requires a lot of time, which people lack, and it requires time and clarity, which a lot of people don't have. So I want to provide to them, right, instantaneous network itself. But for me to build this set of clienteles, be it people that join me, be it people that become my clients, right, I wouldn't say that they need to have exactly same mindset as me or the same vision or same mission, but it has to be similar. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you genuinely build something, right, that has an ecosystem of benefits for different type of clienteles, right?
Yeah.
Assuming you want to build a business, cool, right? We have investors right there as well. If you want to look for mentees, yes, we have young kids, young blood, hungry to learn from you as well. Beautiful. And then you just mentioned you want to build a team to build this ecosystem. Share more about it.
Yeah. So the thing about building a team is that I feel sometimes people just want to build a team to promote, which I feel it isn't wrong.
Yeah.
Right. But instead of focusing on quantity, I want to focus on quality. Right. I don't bring in people to suffer in a business or to just die in a business. Right. So first of all, same thing. They need to have the first 3 sets of qualities. Right. How should I garner food? Right. Coachable, gratitude, and then of course they need to have the ability to service others.
Yep.
So once these 3 are in, okay, be it they actually know anything about finance, I think these things can be actually learned. Yeah. So of course, I tend to look out for these 3 qualities in people as well. And I do that by having a chat with them.
Yeah.
So I don't ask them whether, actually, are you coachable?
Yeah.
I mean, in an interview, if you ask that, everyone will say yes. Yeah. Definitely that. Right. But I believe you can feel that through different kinds of interaction as well and the way they carry themselves.
Agree.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And now that we come to the end of this podcast, right? Those of you who like this podcast and you want to find out more about, Edmund, we can follow him. Where can they find you at, Edmund?
Oh, you can follow me on my Instagram.
Yeah, you want to say the handle?
Yeah, at JUZ_Edmund. Yeah, EDMUND.
I'll link it in the Spotify and YouTube link, YouTube playlist as well. So now that we come to the end of this podcast, once again, thank you, Edmund, for being here, sharing so much wisdom and gem. I'm learning so much from you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Daryl.